Her first professional role was starring as Arya Stark in the HBO hit show Game of Thrones. Before getting into acting, she wanted to be a dancer. She also launched a new social media app called Daisy. She's Maisie Williams, and here's my take on her top 10 rules to success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, be memorable.
And what advice would you give for aspiring creatives like us?
Knowing what it is about you that is infectious and being able to convey that to people as soon as you meet them is so important. Being memorable and making an impact is so important. You know, that's true for so many different lines of work, and not just like as an actor, but you have to do things to stand out. You can't play by the rules. And I think that, just knowing that you're good enough and knowing that it's not because of how good you are, but it's just who picked you to the post, and you know, making sure that you stay on that path to be that person.
Rule number 2, don't equal money with happiness.
Now that you have more money than, let's assume, your other path where you may have been a struggling dancer, does the money bring extra happiness and contentment and security, or do you just say it's irrelevant?
I think it definitely brings more security for me and my family, and for everyone. I try to share that as much as possible. I like to be able to do nice things, but I think that they're not worth anything if you're doing them on your own. I think experiences are about shared experiences, so anytime that I can really include people, I think that that's so important. Yeah. But happiness, no. I don't think that it makes you more happy. I think the things that you get to do make me happy, but if I couldn't do them, I wouldn't be less happy. Yeah. Like, I just think it's amazing to be able to provide for my family and for my mother the way that she provided for me for so long. But that doesn't make her love me anymore, or doesn't make me any happier. It's just something amazing that comes with, you know, giving up everything when I was 12 and working for the last nearly decade of my life, and forfeiting lots of friendships and lots of opportunities at being, you know, a teenager. And what comes with that is this paycheck, which is phenomenal, and but I don't think that makes you any happier.
Rule number 3, do things despite fear.
Is it more nervous when the cameras say, okay, action, time to go, hit this at this time, you've done it 20 times, now we need to get it right? What's more nerve-wracking, that or a TED Talk for 15 minutes in front of 1,000 people?
A TED Talk.
Why is that?
Acting, performing, that's like in my bones. And being able to switch that on, and like I can pretend to be like still and calm and like focused and thoughtful, and that's what my entire job is on Game of Thrones. Arya is very calculated, and she can command a room by doing very little, and I understand that feeling and can portray that and can convince people. But my hands are shaking right now.
So you could do that on a camera and be super calm, but on stage or in a simple little podcast with me, you still get a little nervous or anxious.
Yeah, and I think it really is just the act of, like, you know, creating a character of pretending. You can, and I think people do it all the time. People live their entire lives like pretending to be someone
being
that they're
a character.
Not. Yeah,
putting on a mask or doing something.
Yeah, people don't truly know who they are, and you do that for so long that you really lose touch with who you are. Yeah, and I think you know, being able to do that so strongly and so convincingly, you know, means I've created a career from it. But when I strip that away and decide to drop that, like, I am a very anxious person. I think the best, like, medicine I was ever given was really just trying to embrace it and stop trying to fight it, really, and just accepting that that's how I deal with things, and not letting it stop me from doing a TED Talk. I'm still going to go and do it, even though it means that I'm going to be, you know, uncomfortable and probably make my anxiety worse, or do a play. I did a play for 3 months at Hampstead Theatre here in London.
Was that nerve-wracking?
Completely. On opening night, I looked at myself in the mirror, was alone in my dressing room, and I outwardly said to myself in the mirror, what made you think you could do this? Like, said it to myself.
That's probably not the best thing to say before the first night.
No, but I just couldn't believe that like past Maisie had thought that this would be an amazing idea. But then you have to stop and breathe and realize that like I'm not going to let this hold me back from doing the things I enjoy, because ultimately I enjoy performing. I enjoy being on stage. I enjoy that sort of thing, and I enjoy, you know, helping other people, and I know that the words that I wanted to say in my TED Talk could be inspiring to other people, and I want to do that. And it's difficult, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't.
Rule number 4, get outside your comfort zone.
What would you say your initial inspiration was for the app Daisy?
Well, I mean, it's always been a problem with the industry that I've been aware of, and if I hadn't got the opportunities that I did, then I would have been really stuck knowing how to get in. But in terms of like the actual instigation, Dom was like, we should make an app, and like, I would never have thought of doing that on my own. But yeah, I guess, you know, between me understanding the industry and his initiative, we made it. We made it work.
And what advice would you give to people just to get the most out of the Daisy app?
Networking, that's like the biggest tool within it, and the most important tool. Working with people who are outside of your group, working with exciting people that you feel like are going to push you, and like doing things that are outside of your own comfort zone and applying it to be a part of something that you're really interested in but maybe haven't done before, and take that time to learn and grow.
Also, if you want to learn from other successful women entrepreneurs, check out my 254 Girl Boss series. It's free. The link is in the description below.
Become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed.
There's a lot of man's world out there, but entrepreneurship is a level playing field. There's no rules.
It's important for us to remember the joy in what we do. It's important to be effective in our workplace, but it's important to cultivate the moments that just bring us joy.
Rule number 5, do what you love.
And what drew me to performing and creating, I guess. I'm the youngest of 4, and growing up and going to school, like I was just always a shower. I just love to perform, and I love to make people laugh, and even if that was at the expense of my, like, I don't know, my dignity, like I just wanted to make people laugh. I wanted to make people happy with like performing, and I was in school plays, and I used to go to dance classes, and I loved the performances of that, and something about being on the stage and being watched and what I was doing that would bring people happiness that I've just always really enjoyed. So, you know, it's very different in film because you don't have an audience that are watching you and like clapping along. Like, it's not like that. But I guess, you know, when it comes out and the fans are so excited for it, and just knowing that it's going to be enjoyed by people, that's what I love about performing and creating.
Rule number 6, ask yourself difficult questions.
What advice would you have for other young women who maybe feel super anxious, super stressed out, hate themselves, ask themselves, why am I even here? What advice would you have for them, or coaching or guidance if they're listening to this?
I think to just slow everything down, to write things out, I think it really depends, but I think like giving yourself there's lots of different types of like therapy that you can go and do, CBT or something, I don't know. Yeah. But if that's not really for you, I think it's like just asking yourself really, really difficult questions, like questioning, getting to the root, like look further and further within, because like the answers are all there, and I think you're capable of finding that on your own. Ask yourself, like, why do you make yourself feel like this? Because no one else is doing that to you.
Right.
Why? And like, don't stop until you've like cried every last tear about the reason why. Like, keep picking yourself and keep trying to understand it.
Yeah.
I'm still, on my way to figuring that sort of thing out. I think, it's definitely like, just like layers and layers of like, trying to understand that. But I think it's all within you.
Rule number 7, find balance.
I've like worked solidly for like 2 years at a time and like just gone from one job to the next, to the next, to the next. And I just like, it's not good for me. I don't know, I can't do that. It makes me sad a little bit, if I'm being honest. And it might sound ungrateful, and I don't mean to be, it's just honest. Yeah. I just, I need to have a break sometimes. What's been really nice about starting Daisy is like I've achieved all of this with my career, and now I'm like so excited about having a 9-to-5 job in an office. It's actually really lovely, and I think having just the balance between those two is really important. Just what I learned from myself. Like, it's very exciting being offered all of these roles, but if you're jeopardizing like how you feel to like keep going and keep working, I just don't think it's worth it. And I am in the position now where I can pick and choose, and I choose to spend some of my time seeing my family.
Rule number 8, refuse to hold yourself back.
When I left school about 7 years ago, I made it my mission to continue learning, even though I never wanted to set foot in a classroom again. Who knows what's going to happen to my life in the next 10 years? I surely have no idea. I've never had an end goal. It's working out okay so far. So trust that you're good enough. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that there truly is a place for everyone. Ask questions and laugh in the face of people who say that they're stupid questions. Be open to learning and admitting when you don't know what the hell is going on. Refuse to hold yourself back and dare to dream big.
Rule number 9, ignore the opinions of others.
I have a tendency to judge myself based on other people's opinions of me, and that's sort of where a lot of my anxieties have always been, and something that I'm trying to change, but I don't know, 1 year of doing that isn't going to solve that. And so I think, now with the show ending and moving forwards into my life and deciding what I want to do, I just worry that if people are very vocal about what they think on my life, that it might affect me. Even if it just upsets me, like that kind of scares me, because when I get upset, it makes me just forget a lot of the things that I've worked so hard to try and understand. It's
like you put that energy on that upset or people's opinions.
Exactly.
As opposed to the good things you've done.
Yeah.
Or your mission or what you want to create.
Yeah, and that's when it starts creeping back in, It's like one knock or one thing you read, and then it can just spiral. And I know that I'm still very capable of doing that. Wow. So it's just, that's what my biggest fear is for the future, because I don't want it to stop me from doing things I want to do.
Yeah.
But other people's opinions do still like really affect me.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is have fun.
Hi everyone, it's Maisie Williams here. HBO were generous enough to give us some of their Game of Thrones swag, so today I've come to a local hobby store to give it away to some unsuspecting fans. I am now Lorraine. Hello there, sir.
Hello.
What can we help you with today?
Hello. Big Game of Thrones.
What can I help you with?
I'm here for the giveaway.
You want this one?
This is you.
No, I'm Lorraine. What, you think I'm this?
Yes.
This is a little boy.
I'm so confused. There is also
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
Hi, I recognize you from Game of Thrones, right?
I've never seen Game of Thrones. I heard it's a really good show. This character, I heard, is really cool.
Yeah, I know who you are.
I was thinking that I recognized you. Where do I know you from?
Nowhere.
You been to England?
Nope.
Tinder?
No.
No?
Never even heard of that.
What do you want to win today? Because by the way, we don't just give it for free. You have to do something first.
And what would you like me to do for it?
You have to act out a scene from this Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. You're gonna walk in front of me just like you're ringing that bell.
Okay.
Basically, I'm I'm naked head to toe.
You're naked?
Totally naked.
That's so sad. Okay, let's do this. Shame.
And I'm throwing rotten vegetables.
Shame. Yeah. Everyone throw stuff at her.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Maisie on how to find inner peace that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching the video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1, what do you need to do despite your fears? Number 2, whose opinions do you need to stop listening to? And number 3, what does balance look like for you?
You had the biggest show, you're getting on the cover of magazines, you have all these opportunities, tons of people are loving you, but on the inside you weren't loving yourself, it sounded like. What would have to change on the external world for you to shift?
I think that was the point, was that I was waiting for something on the outside world to change. And it wasn't ever really going to. So I think it was important for me to find peace within myself.
Wow.
I think I had a lot of like rocky relationships with friends and my family, had a lot of thoughts about, why did I get this success, next to like my siblings and, how much.
The guilt or things you might have felt.
Yeah, definitely. And so I think what I needed to do was stop punishing myself for that. And that was what it came out as. I would punish myself for being successful.
If you want to see the top 10 I did on Kit Harington, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I was all right at rugby. I was playing quite a high level. I can't stand watching Thrones and knowing it's a stuntman that's doing my bit. So anytime